Hello, my friends. Welcome back to AgeWise. Tell me, have you ever looked around your home and thought, how did I end up with all this stuff? I know I have. Over the years, things just pile up. Memories, keepsakes, and, let's be honest, a whole lot of things we barely use. Now, clearing out the clutter sounds like a great idea. A fresh start always feels good. But here's the thing, some things are worth keeping. Not because they are expensive or fancy, but because they mean something. They tell our stories, bring us joy, or simply make life a little easier. Today, we are not just talking about decluttering. We are talking about holding on to what really matters. The things that still have a purpose, the pieces that make your home your home. So stick with me. We are going to talk about 14 things you should think twice about before tossing. I bet by the end of this, you'll see some of the treasures in your home in a whole new light. Ready? Let's begin. Item number 1, the soap that saves. Let me ask you something. Do you have a cabinet or shelf stuffed with half-used bottles of shampoo, conditioner, or soap? You are not alone. Somehow, over the years, these things just pile up. It happens to all of us, especially when we grew up with the idea that nothing should go to waste. It is easy to look at those mismatched bottles and think they are just taking up space. But here is a little secret. They are not just clutter. They are hidden opportunities. That shampoo you did not love. It can be used to clean delicate fabrics or even as shaving cream. Those conditioners. They can shine up shoes, untangle zippers, or soften paintbrushes. It is surprising how many uses these little things have when you take a second look. So, here is my tip. Do not toss them. Challenge yourself to use them up. There is something satisfying about finding value in what you already own. It is a quiet reminder of the resourcefulness that has carried us through every stage of life. Let's keep finding the good in what we have. Stick around, because up next, we are talking about something that might be hiding in plain sight, just waiting to surprise you. Item number 2, paper fortunes. Now picture this. It's a rainy afternoon, and your grandkids show up unexpectedly. You're overjoyed, of course, but soon enough, someone spills juice or asks for an extra napkin. In that moment, you realize just how handy those extra paper goods tucked away in the closet can be. Sounds familiar, right? Many of us learned early on the value of being prepared. Growing up, we knew that having a little extra meant being ready for whatever life threw our way. That is why I'm here to tell you, do not be so quick to toss those extra rolls of toilet paper, napkins, or paper towels. They might seem like clutter, but they are the quiet heroes of the home. Whether you are hosting family for the holidays, cleaning up an unexpected mess, or handling a surprise power outage, having those extras close by can make a big difference. Think about it. How many times have you been caught wishing for just one more paper towel or another box of tissues? By keeping these essentials around, you are not holding on to clutter. You are holding on to peace of mind. Trust me. You will thank yourself when life's little surprises show up at your door. And speaking of surprises, there is something else you might be overlooking. Item 3, once-a-year wonders. Let me ask you this. Do you have a turkey roasting pan tucked away in the back of a cabinet? Or maybe a gravy boat that only sees the light of day during the holidays? I know I do. Every time I see them, I'm reminded of family gatherings, Thanksgiving dinners, and the simple joy of everyone sitting around the table together. These items might feel like they are just taking up space, especially when kitchen cabinets are already full. But here is the thing. They are not just kitchen tools. They are part of your family's story. Those once-a-year wonders carry memories that come alive when the holidays roll around. So what do you do when space is tight? Don't get rid of them. Just relocate them, move them to a shelf in the basement, a storage closet, or a sturdy box in the garage. They might not be part of your everyday life, but when it is time for the next celebration, they will be there, ready to continue your family's traditions. Because when your loved ones gather again and you pull out that roasting pan or gravy boat, you are not just preparing a meal. You are reliving moments and making new memories. So before you decide to let go of those seasonal items, ask yourself if they are really just clutter or key ingredients in your family's story. And speaking of stories, let's talk about something else that fills our homes. Things that may not belong to us, but still mean a lot. Item 5, spare parts, spare worries. Let me ask you this. How many times have you come across a random screw, a tiny plastic piece, or some mysterious attachment tucked away in a drawer and thought, what on earth does this belong to? If you are, like me, you have probably been tempted to toss it, thinking it is just clutter. But here is the thing. Those little pieces can be lifesavers. They might seem useless now, but they often hold the key to keeping your appliances, furniture, or tools running smoothly. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, I found a small gear in my kitchen drawer. I didn't recognize it and almost threw it away. Fast forward a few months, my stand mixer, something I inherited from my mother, stopped working. Guess what saved the day? That tiny gear. It turned out to be the missing piece that kept a beloved family heirloom running. Here is my advice. Gather all those odd bits and pieces into one labeled box or container. Keep it somewhere easy to find, like a utility closet or a storage shelf. You might not use them often, but when you do need them, they are almost impossible to replace. Trust me, there is nothing more frustrating than realizing you threw away the one piece you needed to avoid a costly repair. So the next time you stumble upon a random part and feel the urge to toss it, think twice. It might just save you from a headache later. Now, speaking of things that are worth keeping, let's talk about something else that offers more than just convenience. Item number 6, the memory keepers. Have you ever stumbled upon a faded photograph or a handwritten note tucked away in an old drawer and felt a surge of warmth? I remember one rainy afternoon digging through a box in the attic and discovering a stack of postcards from years past. They weren't just scraps of paper. They were echoes of laughter, adventures, and heartfelt moments that I had almost forgotten. In that moment, I realized that sometimes what we call clutter isn't useless at all. It holds pieces of our history, the moments that shape who we are. I used to wonder if it was worth the space they took up. Then I thought of the stories behind every crease and ink stain. Rather than tossing them aside, I decided to give these treasures a new home. I found a special box where I could keep them safe and revisit the memories whenever I needed a little reminder of life's beautiful journey. And in doing so, I discovered that honoring our past can be as practical as it is sentimental. So before you decide to discard those old letters, postcards, or mementos gathering dust in a forgotten corner, pause for a moment. Ask yourself if they are not just objects, but keys to unlocking cherished moments. It might just be the gentle nudge you need to reconnect with your own story. Stay with me, because as we continue this journey together, I'm excited to share more insights on finding unexpected treasures in the midst of our everyday lives. Item 7. The unexpected helpers. Have you ever found something tucked away in a drawer that you barely remembered owning until it came in handy at just the right moment? I recall one chilly evening when a sudden power outage left me scrambling for a solution. There, hidden behind a pile of forgotten items, was a set of extra batteries that I had almost thrown out weeks earlier. That simple find turned a frustrating night into a smooth recovery, and it made me realize that sometimes the items we overlook are the ones that come to our rescue. I used to be quick to dismiss things that didn't see regular use, thinking they were just clutter. But then I learned that every little item can have its day. Those extra batteries, a spare light bulb, or even a long-forgotten adapter might be exactly what you need when life throws a curveball. instead of letting them gather dust. I now keep them organized in a small, easily accessible box. It's a habit that has saved me more than once and reminded me that even the most unassuming objects can be true helpers. So before you clear out another shelf or drawer, pause and think about those little items that might just be waiting for their moment. They can be the unexpected heroes of your everyday life, turning potential emergencies into stories of triumph. And as we move forward, keep your mind open to the idea that sometimes the things you think you no longer need might be more valuable than you ever imagined. Item number 8, the unseen time savers. I remember one hectic morning when everything seemed to be spiraling out of control. Amid the rush, I discovered a small gadget tucked away in a forgotten corner, a little kitchen tool that I'd completely overlooked. At that moment, it transformed a chaotic breakfast into a smooth, efficient routine, making me realize that sometimes the best helpers are the ones we rarely notice. There was a time when I dismissed these odd tools as unnecessary clutter, just extra pieces in a busy household. But that morning taught me otherwise. It was like a secret ally, silently waiting to ease my daily burdens. This tiny device, once relegated to a shelf, now holds a special place in my routine because it saves me precious time when I need it most. Think about it. How many small, overlooked items in your home might be waiting for their chance to shine? Instead of hastily clearing them out, why not give them a chance to prove their worth? It's about finding those little time savers that quietly make life more manageable, helping you reclaim a bit of calm in the everyday storm. As you continue on your own journey of rediscovery, keep an eye out for these hidden treasures. They're reminders that sometimes the most unassuming objects can offer the biggest rewards. Item 9. The quiet organizers. I remember a time when I was rummaging through my storage space, feeling overwhelmed by the mess of tangled cables and random tools. Amid the chaos, I found a little box that had been quietly sitting on a shelf. It wasn't flashy, but it had a special place in my heart because it always kept things neat and ready for action. That simple box reminded me that sometimes organization comes in the most unassuming forms. It hit me then that not every item has to be a constant show of brilliance. Some, like this little box, work behind the scenes, keeping our spaces functional and our minds at ease. In that moment, I realized that the real magic often lies in the quiet, everyday items that we overlook. They may not scream for attention, but they provide a sense of order and calm that is invaluable. So as you sift through your belongings, take a moment to appreciate those modest organizers. They hold the promise of making life a little smoother when things get hectic. As we wrap up our journey today on AgeWise, I want you to take a moment to reflect on all the treasures we uncovered. I shared these stories because every item in our home holds a quiet significance and a hidden role in making our daily lives richer. Each piece, from the little time savers to the humble organizers, shows that value comes from cherishing memories and embracing the unexpected helpers that brighten our routines. I invite you to join the conversation by sharing a moment when something you almost let go turned into a cherished reminder or an unexpected lifesaver in your own home. Your stories are important, and I look forward to hearing them. If you enjoyed this chat on AgeWise, please consider liking, sharing, or subscribing for more heartfelt conversations that inspire and connect us all. Thank you for spending these moments with me. I hope you feel more connected to your space and inspired to see the beauty in every detail. Take care and keep finding joy in the everyday.